Hey guys, welcome back to Salem, Cellar. So the past 2 weeks, I've been streaming a lot of new movies here at the Cellar. I've been doing some rewatches, but mainly new films, and I want to talk to you guys about it. I'll be right back. So when I say new, they're not technically new films. They're new films for me that I've never seen before. The first one being Midsummer. Yeah, I've never seen Midsummer. It took me a while. It took me like 4 years to see this movie. I think after Hereditary, I was kind of like, maybe I'll wait. I've been hearing like a lot of crazy things about this film. It was directed by Ari Aster. He also did Hereditary. It's starring Florence Pugh. I'm sorry if I pronounced her name wrong. I'm horrible at pronouncing names. It's an A24 film. So I went into it kind of nervous. I'm not gonna lie, Hereditary screwed me up for a while. That movie was insane. It was insane, and it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. So I went into it kind of nervous. I was late night one night. My kids were sleeping. I was done with work, and I'm like, let me just give this a try. Let's just do it. And I want to say I really loved this movie. I know people think I'm nuts after like saying it out loud, but I felt like there was something like very calming and beautiful about this film. It didn't cause me any like anxiousness or anxiety. I was completely chill throughout the whole thing. And I really think it was beautifully done. I loved the cast, the story. Of course, it was some crazy stuff going on, but it wasn't anything that was like crazy shocking to me. The ending was a little shocking, but it was also good. It didn't bother me. I enjoyed that part as well. Out of 10, I would give it an 8. I'm definitely going to be watching it again. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I really thought I was going to be like finish it and just be like, ugh, I from like what people were saying about this movie, I really thought it was going to be like next level insane. It kind of reminded me of like Hostel a little bit, but calmer. Like Hostel's an insane movie, and it reminded me a little bit of also The Wicker Man. The remake, the one with Nicolas Cage. It had that Wicker Man feeling to it. The people in it were very similar, except there was like men involved with this movie. There is, some nudity, a crazy weird sex scene going on. It's a little brief, but it's weird. I didn't really know what to think of it. I was like, okay, this is awkward to watch. But besides that, I really did enjoy it. There's some gore. There's a scene where somebody like falls or jumps, or I don't want to give too much away, but they fall and they hit their face. I think that's on the ground or a rock, and you kind of can see their face like pop off, like flop off, and it's pretty disgusting and it's pretty amazing. Yeah, so I definitely enjoyed that. But yeah, I will be watching this again, and I give it an 8 out of 10. It was a good film. Another movie that I just watched is Renfield, starring Nicolas Cage. Awkwafina's in it, Nicholas Hoult. I loved this movie. I did not expect the level of violence and gore and blood. I didn't really know what to expect. But on top of just like laughing the entire time, like I was hysterically laughing, it was just like the fight scenes, the battle scenes were like, oh, wow. Like it was awesome. It was awesome. I'm mad that I waited so long to see it. Like Nicolas Cage as Dracula was amazing. I loved him in this role. I thought he was going to do well in this role, but like he just did a phenomenal job. Nicholas Hoult, he's just, whatever role he gets, like if it's The Menu, if his X-Men, whatever he's in, he just like kills it. And I really loved him in this one. And Awkwafina is just hysterical. She's hysterical. I adore her. But overall, it was such a good movie. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10, and I will 100% be watching this movie again. It was good. It was good. It was funny. I didn't expect to laugh. I didn't think I'd be laughing at all. I don't know why. I kind of felt like it's going to be a little bit more serious of a film, but I'm happy it didn't go that direction. I'm happy it was funny. It was bloody. There was action. There was some, Dracula lore in it, and it was some like ridiculous things going on as well. So overall, it was a great movie. The ending for me, though, I didn't love the ending too much. I thought the ending was just kind of a little cheese, just a little bit. Nothing like that bothered me too much. But it was kind of like, oh, let's make everything better and perfect at the end. Like, just put that little Band-Aid on it. Like, and I didn't want that kind of ending. But it wasn't anything for me to like not want to watch this film again. Like I said, it was bloody, it was gory, action, it was funny. It was a perfect film for me, from what I was expecting it to be. I was very pleased. So if you haven't seen Renfield, definitely check it out. It's worth the watch. Another new movie that I saw was Bird Box Barcelona, starring Georgina Campbell. Now, I watched the original Bird Box with Sandra Bullock. I've probably watched it like twice, and that was it. So I went into this movie thinking it was going to be similar, and it was completely different. It was from a different perspective. If you haven't seen the film, I don't want to ruin that part for you. Did I enjoy it though as much as the first film? I did not. I liked it. It was a decent movie, but I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one with Sandra Bullock. I actually went back to rewatch the Sandra Bullock one after watching the Barcelona film, and just to confirm which one I liked better. And the first film just did it for me. It was just done better, in my opinion. I'm pretty sure there was different directors, but the Barcelona film was just, I don't know, it was lackluster. It was missing something. The ending was cool, I want to say that. It had a cool ending that definitely opened the door up for more movies. But I wanted more of this creature. I wanted to know more about them. In the first film, if you remember, there's one of those people that saw the actual form of this creature or whatever. I don't know if it's supposed to be an alien, if it's supposed to be an angel or a demon, but there's some people that can see it, and it makes them kind of crazy and controls their mind. You definitely see more of that in this film. But in the first one, you see there's a man who is one of the crazies, let's call them, and he's drawing pictures. And these pictures are like, it looks like big eyes, kind of like tentacles. I know I've heard that, like, that's what angels are supposed to look like an eye with kind of like tentacles, which I have never heard that before, but apparently that's what they're supposed to look like, which is pretty horrifying. But that's kind of like what he was drawing in this one, in the first one. So you kind of like get an idea of what they might look like. But in this film, you don't really get much of it. You know, when somebody does see a creature, you see like a bright light, and it's supposed to be like they're going to like somewhere happy. But why would anything angelic or godly want you to commit suicide? You know, it goes against everything we learn in religion or church. It was weird. It was very predictable. I kind of predicted how it was going to end. There was some unbelievable stuff in it. It was just like, yeah, that wouldn't happen. Yeah, that wouldn't, no. But the ending for me was cool. I did enjoy the ending. I liked the cast. The cast I have no complaints about. I love Georgina Campbell. I think she did like a really great job in this. I'm hoping there's more movies, but I'm hoping it just kind of explains more about the origin of these creatures. I want to know more about them, and I was really hoping we would get a little bit more in this film. Hopefully the next one, the way they ended it, kind of tells me we might, but I won't hold my breath. Out of a 10, I would give it a 7. Will I watch it again? Probably in the far future. Nothing like, not in the next couple of weeks. I'm probably not going to rewatch it, but eventually I'll watch it again. It was good, not great. I was expecting a lot more. Another film that I saw was Quicksand. Now, this is currently streaming on Shudder. It is about a couple. They go to Colombia and they go on a hike. Now, this couple is clearly going through a divorce. They don't really like each other much. And you can see all this from the trailer. They go into a part of, I guess, the woods or an area that they're not supposed to go into. It's dangerous. Somebody at the hotel warned them not to. They go anyway, and they end up in quicksand. Now, the film is decent. Like, it had a good steady pace. And then even in the quicksand, where it could be kind of like boring and empty because you're just kind of like in that one location and you really can't move, what's really going to happen? There, you know, it was eventful. There was stuff going on that makes your skin crawl, and it just keeps you kind of like, you know, pulled into the movie. It was definitely intense. But the ending for me, I feel like the ending kills the entire film for me. It was just unrealistic and typical. Like, I don't know where. At first, the ending, I'm like, is this a daydream? Is this really not happening? But I'm like, oh wow, this is really happening. It was just, I don't want to say it ruined the movie for me, but it was just definitely like a movie that I would have probably really have enjoyed. I didn't enjoy as much because of the last probably 10 minutes of the film, which stinks, because it was a decent movie. You know, it could be a little slow at times, but it was a decent movie overall. Out of a 10, I would give it a 7. It wasn't a bad film. It is basically exactly what you're thinking it's gonna be from the trailer and the synopsis, but the ending, ugh. I just wish it was a different ending. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it. You'll know after you watch this, you're like, okay, I get what you were saying about the ending. Yeah, I could have just done without that. So some movies that I've been rewatching is Land of the Dead. I've been watching a lot of Land of the Dead. I found it streaming on Stars. And I have to purchase this movie. It's one of my favorite zombie films. Big Daddy being the intelligent zombie who's leading this army of zombies is just always so cool to me. And it's definitely different from other zombie films. It's a different little twist of of what we know about zombies. Them moving slow, them being dumb, them not being able to like think for themselves. This is completely different. They can think for themselves, or they can follow directions. They shoot guns. They are just the main zombie, Big Daddy. He has a mission. I love John Leguizamo in this. He's so good. I love him, period. But him in this film, I really did enjoy. So yeah, if you have Stars, definitely give that a watch. The other day, I started watching the Paranormal Activity movies, rewatching, because I've seen them all. So I was watching the Next to Kin, which I really do enjoy. Next to Kin, I don't think it did too well. I don't think a lot of people liked it. But if you really pay attention, you know, of course it's not like as scary as the other films, but it has a really good story and the ending is pretty cool. I put it on before bed. It's like sometimes, you know, sometimes, all the time, I put on a horror movie to go to sleep. You know, nothing too insane. You know, usually sometimes like a Saw movie or like Menu or, you know, The Menu. So I put on Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. So what Paramount does, if you have Paramount Plus, you know this. It'll start, once it ends, it'll go to like the next movie that's similar to that movie and starts playing. So Next to Kin was on, I went to sleep. Fine, cool. You know, I enjoyed this movie. It doesn't scare me, doesn't creep me out. Then I wake up like an hour and a half later and it was Paranormal Activity Ghost Dimension, which to me is one of the creepiest ones. You kind of get like, you see Toby's legs and he's freaking creepy. And it was like the final scene. I'm sorry if you haven't seen this movie, but like Toby comes out, basically kills everybody. The priest, the sister, the husband, everybody. The mom is just left with her daughter. She's scared out of her mind. Toby comes out, snaps the mom's neck and takes the daughter and leaves. That's the part I woke up to. You know, like there's something about this Toby, this demon, and they call him Toby, but he has a different name. which is horrifying to me. He's so scary. If you watch little by little all the films, you think he's like kind of like this henchman or something else. No, he's a big time demon. And you learn that at the end of Next of Kin, which is why I think I enjoyed that movie so much. But yeah, so during the day, the next day, I actually watched all three films. I'm like, okay, now it's like kind of like I have that itch so where I want to rewatch these movies. But they're so good. They're so good. If you watch them literally from the first movie, because I remember seeing the first movie in the theater. I remember it first came out and it was only playing in select theaters. And it did so well, it started playing in all the theaters. So I went to go see it. This was like 100 million years ago. And I loved it. It was a little slow, but it was like a cool found footage film that I was enjoying. Then the next one came out. It was a little creepier than that one. Then each one gets creepier and creepier. And I love a good creepy found footage film. So yeah, if you've never watched the Paranormal Activity movies, definitely watch them. Start from the beginning, watch them all. Don't skip any and just have fun. They are really great movies and I can't wait for some more. So yeah, it's been a busy 2 weeks watching new films, which I really do enjoy. Comment down below. Let me know if you have any suggestions for the next streaming at the Cellar. If you've seen any of these movies, how you felt about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day and I will be right back.